I got my guy with me, Sacramento native, Sacramento legend from the et ceteras, and maybe sometimes I say like I'm a one man wolf pack. I think we locked in right here because I think we might be the only two guys that still show love and appreciation for Drake, and we enjoy Boss Man D'Lo's music.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think I think we
brother
might be
man,
the only two that
brother man. I don't look
he be
if
games boy.
if
That boy be
if you
games.
partake in the outside life here and there, or even just have a few adult beverages, that boss man D-Lo, he gonna get you right.
Hey man, he going crazy right now. One of the other things that I realized when I was out, I was at a wedding and stuff like that, and I knew the gravity of what she's doing right now. But man, the ladies love Glorilla right now.
Yep.
They love and glow right now. They some Glorilla come on, they turn up.
Hey, look, you know how they talk about what they playing outside. Well,
Yeah.
all of that is moot. It's boss man, it's glow, it's sexy red, it's Drake.
Oh, they going crazy for sexy
Like,
man.
don't lie. That's what's going on out there. It's fine. Different
That's
music for different places. It's cool.
That's it. That's all it is, man. Eddie Gonzalez of the et ceteras rocking with me here on D-Lo and KC, man. And there's a bunch of different things that I want to talk to you about, man. It's just me and you, so we can talk a little
Uh,
boxing before you
uh,
get out of here too. You know that we gotta talk a little boxing before you get out of here. But I gotta start with hoop. I gotta start with the hometown, man. And I know you talk to all NBA circles, man. And I just want to get your thoughts on DeMar DeRozan coming to the Kings, and then after that, like, what are the streets saying about DeMar DeRozan coming to the Kings?
Yo, first of all, I love that move for them. Shout out to Damien for being right there breaking the
Yeah,
news. I see
yeah,
why he's
yeah,
on vacation.
yeah.
He put his one
Right, right.
little
He
yeah.
earned his vacation. Yeah, yeah.
But no, I love that move for them. I think some of the criticism of DeMar is he doesn't shoot enough threes, but you got floor spacers on this team. You'll be fine. Like you need some of those buckets. When you look at this team last year, their issue wasn't shooting more threes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They needed a secondary creator, and they had that now. They have a dude who's a pure bucket. He won. What was he, second clutch player of the year behind our guy Fox, and then
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he was second again this year. So you got your late game covered. You got him for half the price of Paul George, which is great.
Mm,
You got him at great market rate. Kept him away from your rival down south.
yeah, yeah.
I love the pickup. I think that if you talk around the league, whether it's media, whether it's players, it's a good fit for them. They get another vet in that locker room, and they just taking another step. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they won that out. I think when I look at the marketplace, doesn't look like Laurie's going anywhere. I know it's really loud, but it doesn't look like he's going anywhere as of right now. Ingram, who knows? And maybe I would have wanted Ingram more depending on the price.
Mhm.
But this is a great offseason for the Kings.
Yeah.
You keep your guy Malik Monk, and then you get a guy who adds to what you guys are doing with DeMar DeRozan.
That's an underrated aspect that you just mentioned is, the teams that were trying to potentially get him as well, the Clippers and the Lakers, even though I don't know if that's media driven or not, but the Clippers and the Lakers potentially getting DeMar DeRozan, you were able not only to get him for your team, but
Yep.
keep him away from them. And they both of those teams, they needed somebody like DeMar bad. Like the Lakers and the Clippers, I'm not gonna jump out the window and say they're not top 10, especially the Lakers, because you got LeBron and AD, but I don't know. I think those are two playing teams.
Look, this is a conference. What 10-6 was one game last year,
Mhm,
two games.
mhm,
Uh, you got the Grizzlies coming back.
mhm.
They're ideally be healthy, and they're getting a mega star back. It's tight up top in the conference. Like this is every one of those moves matters. Every
Yeah.
one of those moves. So for people to say something like, "Oh, the Clippers had a great offseason," they did, but they also lost their second best player. That's incremental, but and it matters.
Mhm.
They did add great guys, but all of that stuff matters in a conference where you're deciding five seeds by one game and by tiebreakers. And
Right.
then if you're not on the top side of that, you have to play an extra game or two to keep going. And as a Kings fan and out there in sack, a late season injury, whatever may have you,
Mhm,
the playing game could go left or right. It's too
mhm.
much there. So yes, keep not only add to your coffers, but keep out of theirs. It's a win-win for me. Like there's no downside to that. They got him at a great price. It's a
Yeah.
position of need. He fits with what they're doing. Let's cook up.
Yes, sir. One of the things that everybody's talking about as well with this is, and I don't want to sound like too old as me, because I've heard a lot of the same things that you have. Like people are like, nah, it's a good move. Like they I'll tell you how high I am on it in just a little bit. I don't know if they're as high as I am on it, but they're like, nah, it's a good move. Like it's a good look. It improves. Da 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 da. So I don't want to make it like people are just like just hating on it because it's the Kings. Necessarily, there are some people who do that, but it hasn't been the majority, right? But one of the things they do say and people are worried about is, all right, well, what does this do defensively? Like they didn't improve on the defensive end and all this other stuff. And Eddie, I don't want to be like defense don't matter, because it does matter, or whatever the case may be. But I lean more towards, I want guys that can get you buckets, and a group of guys and a team of guys that can get you buckets, and we'll figure out the defense later, as opposed to let's get a bunch of defensive guys and we'll figure out the offense later. Like I don't think that works at all. You know what I'm saying? So I just say, number one, I don't think the Kings defense was that bad last year. After you kind of looked at some stuff, they improved as the season went on. And also, I'll get DeMar in here, get another bucket getter, another shot creator, which is kind of what they were really missing once Malik went down. Now, if any injury happens, you're not, just kind of in a bad spot with no shot creators. You're adding depth there, and you get a guy like DeMar DeRozan. I'll take my chances with that and figure out the defense later. What you think about the people who just like kind of say like, oh, I didn't address defense, so they're still in the same spot?
Well, I mean, you look at last year, you look at a team like the Mavericks, who everybody said can't play defense, and they have supposed liabilities in Kyrie and Luka. But when a team locks in and finds chemistry in the playoffs, you play tough enough defense. If your offense is great enough, your defense can be enough. It doesn't. You don't have to lead with defense. And in this era of basketball, you're pretty much not going to lead with defense. It just is what it is. So DeMar's a vet. I think his defensive issues are super overstated. It's not like he's going to guard the number one option every night. You're asking him to hustle on the back end and close out. You know what I mean? Play team defense. You got Keegan Murray there to throw on everybody you want, and that's kind of the point of him. De'Aaron Fox is no slouch on defense. He comes with energy. He's good for a steal or two, and he's going to try hard on defense. I think, look, for them, it will always be about Domas in the middle. And like you said, there was incremental improvements last year. You made that commitment to Mike Brown. That's his specialty. You got to trust that he'll figure that out. And you look at the teams that went to the finals last year. You got the Mavericks, and they put all those pieces together in the middle of the season. And so if you're the Kings, you sit there and say, look, we're adding here. We have flexibility going forward. Who knows what's out there in January and February? And maybe you do get that defensive wing that you need, or you feel like you need, and maybe you do get that backup center, which is exactly what the Mavericks did. So again, we're talking about a conference that's separated by a game or two. And these playoff series, they go deep and it gets tough, and you got to make those buckets late. And who better to do that for you than this duo that you're going to have in your backcourt now?
That's facts, man. You're listening to ESPN 1320, KIFM West Sacramento, and Odyssey Station, D-Lo and Casey, brought to you by Sky River Casino. Lucky enough to be joined by my guy, man, Sacramento native Eddie Gonzalez of the Etceteras, man. He everywhere. You ain't never there right now, man. This guy be making moves. You know, Travis Scott's were on the hardwood last night. I saw that. I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? I see how he working, man. I saw the Travis Scott's on the hardwood, man. You know what I'm saying? I see how he gets down, man. For only like the second biggest draw in the WNBA going on right now. It wasn't like they was playing the Mystics. You know what I'm saying? It was Angel Reese in there. And he was on the hardwood. I see how it is.
Shout out to my peoples at the W, man. They take care of your boy, man. I'll say that.
No doubt. But we talking about DeMar DeRozan, the Kings, and the Western Conference, and all this other stuff, man. And I was talking earlier where I've been standing on business all week with this. I look at this Kings team as is, and I don't think I'm being no type of homer. Maybe I'm being a little too aggressive with it, but I believe I'm standing on business. I believe this. I think the floor for this team, as is, 52 wins. 52 wins with DeMar DeRozan. And I say that because 2 years ago, everything went well with health and everything else like that. They won 48. They took the last 3 games off because they were kind of locked into their spot. They could have been 50 at that point. They started off 0-4. Maybe they're 50, 51 at that point, whatever the case may be. Last year, they dealt with some injuries or whatever the case may be. Nothing debilitating, but Monk was out the final month of the season. There was some injuries. They still got to 46. I think they've improved at that Harrison Barnes spot by getting DeMar DeRozan. Malik Monk is back. Another year of Keegan Murray. I think everybody's locked in. I think 52 is the floor. I think they could probably get as high as 55 as is right now.
So when you talk about like win totals, you're looking at the rest of the league too, right? So you're looking at the Clippers, who you feel like got a touch worse, and you have no clue with Kawhi. You have no clue what that is. And if
I
they
think we got.
lose,
I think we got a clue, and I hate to say that because I like Kawhi, but we got a clue. We know what's going to happen
it's
here.
tough because he played 70 games this
He
year,
tried.
and
He tried.
he tried. He gave it a go, and he just says at the Team USA camp, like, look, I do what I can, and sometimes my body can't. So you look at that team as a team maybe on the slide. You look at the Lakers as a team maybe on the slide. They've added almost nothing this offseason. They added Connect, who I think can help, but he's a rookie, right? And he's going to be, off the bench role, and he's going to be limited as it is. They barely play Max Christie as it is. And they have a new rookie coach, and I love JJ. That's my guy. We have no clue what that will be, even if we trust him to the utmost. So that's a team that is looking that way. The Warriors, they lost their second leading scorer. That's a team they've struck out on every move they've tried this summer, and it's like Steph. We feel like Steph can give us 50 every year, no matter what. He didn't give us 50 last year, so that's another team that's on the slot. So these are wins that are piling up, right? These are wins we can get. Now, maybe you feel like the Rockets will be better, Sengun will improve, but they struck out on their big moves this offseason too. So all that stuff starts to stack up, and it does start to look like they're going to add some wins this year. I could see them in the 50 range. Again, what was the 1 seed last year? 58. So
57, I think it
this
was.
is a tight conference, and each one of those wins is going to matter. So you can't start 0-4. That matters in April. You know what I mean? I could see that. You got to pray for health, but that's a team that's going to win a lot of regular season games. It's a team that's going to win a lot of close games. That's a team that's going to be competitive every night, and that's one of those regular season things too. I look at the Thunder last year, like the Thunder were just a team. They just seem to care more on night in and night out. They're the young upstart team, and they got a leader who wants to win games, and so sometimes that also is part of it too. And I think we're going to see that from some of the older teams that are just not as pressed. And then the Eastern Conference is what it is, and you got to beat up on them over there, and they should. So I can see it in that range, 50, 52, 54. It's just going to be a tough conference out there. That's all. That top 6 out there is going to be tough, but ideally you're part of it.
So the thing about it, and I was thinking about this today as well, is the West is tough, and it's like light years as a whole better than the Eastern Conference. But one of the things that I've heard a lot as well that I agree with is I like the Kings just getting after it and going for it, seeing what you can do. And one of the reasons why I say that is while the West is tough, and you've got your OKCs, your Minnesotas, Dallas now, and all this other, Phoenix possibly being there as well. Memphis might be back. You don't have no Boston. You don't. I don't even know if you have a Knicks in the Western Conference. And what I mean by that is, with the right matchup, all these teams are kind of gettable, right? Like you look at how the playoffs played out.
Yep.
I don't know if, like Denver. How do we do this? Denver probably beats Dallas, but they probably can't beat Minnesota.
Yep.
OKC probably loses to Minnesota, but they can't get past. You know what I mean? It was
the rock paper
solely about
scissors
the
over there
matchups.
is
You know
tough.
what
And
I'm saying?
it's hard to remember now. We're 2 months out, but Denver went to Game 7 with many. They were up 3-2. You know what I mean? If they win that 6, they blown out. If they win 6 or 7 at home, they probably beat Dallas, right? And then you have a whole different conference, and you're looking at Dallas different. Like, what does Dallas have? And they lost a starter, and they added an old Klay Thompson, and is it the same? But it's funny what winning does. You go to June, and they kind of got wiped out against Boston, but now it's no longer, oh, we lost Derrick Jones Jr. It's like, oh, we added Klay, and we're this and we're that. I think they had a good offseason. I don't know what Klay is for that team. He's spacing for sure, but I don't know that he's the utility guy on defense that they need. And again, their margins were super close last year. They played a tough series with the Clippers without Kawhi, and then played a tough series with the Thunder as well. And that goes left or right either way. Kyrie had a tough playoffs after the first round. Luka had his struggles here and there. Obviously stepped up when they needed to, but he had struggles here and there as well. And so all the margins are super thin. And that also works, like you said, for the Kings. Incremental improvements mean they hop right in that race, and you get the right matchup. You get a matchup that's a little soft in the interior, like OKC, and who knows what Domas does against them. And yes, they added Hartenstein, but they have to play Hartenstein, and that gives you somebody Domas can guard, and on and on. So like, it's gonna be a season of matchups for sure, and you want to get that home court too.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were people here in Sacramento. I was one of them. I wasn't going to say like, oh, they're going to beat them, but there were a lot of people in Sacramento who were like, let's just get there, because I think if we can get there, we can get OKC. Like they believed that at the time, whether it was true or not. They believe, like, I think we can get them. Like they would be like, if we had to play Denver, that'd be tough, or if we had that'd be tough. But OKC's the one, and we could get that AC. Let's get there. We could get them. So like, it's heavy on matchups. It's heavy on matchups in the Western Conference, and we'll just see how that plays out. I got my man Eddie Gonzalez of the et ceteras with me here on D-Lo and KC, and I got about 7 minutes. We're gonna break the rules. We're gonna break the rules. And they don't like to talk. They don't like it, and when you talk about boxing. But how can I have Eddie Gonzalez on here and not talk a little boxing? While he's on here. Where do I start? Let's see. Shakur. Shakur Stevenson.
Oh man.
Here's my assessment of him. He's an unbelievably skilled fighter. Unbelievable defensively skilled fighter. And he's got offensive skills as well. Like it's not just all defense. But we talking about the creme de la creme in 130 to 135 to 140. To me, it's Tank Davis. I think the only person that, and because I'll bring up Shakur because people are like, no, Shakur might get him. Shakur not beating Tank. We talked about it on Twitter. Tank will eat those punches to get his punches off, and nobody stands up to his punches right now. That's what history has shown us so far. Nobody stands up to a Tank Davis punch. The only person that I think has the best shot, and I don't even like this dude, is T.O. That's the only one. I don't like T.O. But T.O., I think he might have the power to get Tank to back up off of him. He's naturally a bigger guy than Tank. So I think that's the only one. I don't think Haney can. I don't think Shakur can. I don't think Loma can. I don't think none of them dudes mess with Tank.
I think I want to talk about Shakur a little bit, but as far as Tank goes, it's funny because Frank Martin fought a great 6 rounds.
He did.
And had the right idea. And, I think he was on the back foot a little bit too much, but you kind of got to versus Tank. I'm with you. I think T.O.'s the guy, but he's bigger and he's already talking welterweight, and we'll probably never see Tank at 147. There's just a size difference. But Shakur, like, he's never going to be active enough to win that fight. He was never going to keep Tank off him to win that fight. So eventually he's going to get hit, or he's just going to be backing up, and it's going to he's going to lose like that. But Shakur, man, I don't like when people do this. Oh, well, Floyd was defensive and all this stuff. That's a disrespect to Floyd. Like, that's disrespect to Pretty Boy Floyd before he broke his hands. Who, like, look, he wasn't a thumper. He wasn't Chico Corrales, like, rest in peace, Sac legend. But he could hit you hard. He could get you off him. He wasn't getting in firefights either, but he was stopping guys.
Look,
Shakur's not doing that.
R.I.P. to the Sac legend. What did he do to Chico Corrales?
Yeah, so it's like,
how many times I think he knocked Chico Corrales down again just now.
So look, you're disregarding all of that part of it too. And then even the older money Floyd, who was a character and was fighting a little more conservative, he was still thumping guys that were bigger than him, and he was coming forward and he was active. And on top of that, he's probably the most abrasive personality we've seen in the sport since Muhammad Ali, dare I say, that far back. So Shakur is neither one of those. Don't compare him to Floyd just because he's defensive and fights on the back foot sometimes. No, he doesn't hit hard. He doesn't make for exciting fights. Yes, he sells out the arena in Newark, and all due respect to him for that, for having the hometown crowd. And yes, he did great ESPN numbers, but Floyd was doing 1 million pay-per-view buys against whoever they brought. We don't do that. We don't compare nobody to that. Like, leave that alone.
It's night and day. It's absolutely night and day. And once again, I like Shakur as a fighter.
That's
Like
the thing.
his
Yeah.
personality and stuff. I'm not crazy about his personality or nothing like that, but
He's doing
that's
himself
another
no
reason to leave.
favors. And I respect the talent. Like, I'm not
Mhm,
saying what he's doing is not skilled, but this is the business of prize fighting. This is
mhm.
the prize fighting. So we
Yes,
are making money for fighting. And
yes,
yes, you can be a great tactician, and you can be Guillermo Rigondeaux, and you can be an Olympian, and you can be all that. But that doesn't mean we showing up to pay for pay-per-views, nor should you be at the bargaining table telling the biggest fighter in the world, I need more.
yeah. Stop.
So I can confirm he turned down that Tank deal. I mean that Devin Haney deal.
Uh-huh,
I've heard it from people who were at the table.
uh-huh.
That's on him. Like,
Yeah,
if he wanted to be the guy, take the short money there, beat Devin, then make him come to New Jersey and beat him again, and
yeah.
then you're the man.
Well, look, and anybody listening, do a little quick research, do a little go. Somebody was talking to Devin Haney, so it's just whatever. Somebody was talking to Devin Haney. It's out there on YouTube. It's
Hey.
out there to be seen. So check the sources if you want to. It's right there for you. Um, Real quick, I gotta. It's a hot take. A hot
Okay.
take, I guess. My main man, Jerron Boots, in his fights on Saturday. I think I've said this for a while now. I think I'll give it 5 years. I said 5 years like a year and a half ago, but I'll still
Mm.
say 5 years. He's gonna be top 5 pound for pound, maybe number 1. I think Boots, he's as talented as any boxer in the world right now. Right now today.
Boots is about to have to do what Bud did and just beat the hell out of everybody
Mhm.
and make you watch. He's got to find a natural foe too, which is what got Bud over the hump, and which is why we haven't
Well, he's
seen him.
trying he's trying to make
But
it
there's
Terrence.
but there's no
But
natural
Terrence is at
foe.
another spot. I don't blame Terrence. He's at another spot in his career where he don't have to. He's almost like Floyd when they would be like, "Floyd, why don't you fight Keith Thurman or what?" Bro,
Yeah.
I'm
I
almost
don't
out of
blame Bud at all. Like,
no.
he obviously wanted twin, and that's probably not gonna happen. But
Mhm.
look, he thugged it out in the trenches for a long time, and then kept telling everybody I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, and finally got there. So I don't blame him. But Boots is gonna have to find that natural foe, which is kind of like what Tank did,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then got that money with Ryan, and then went from there. The problem is he's just not there yet. We don't know who that fighter is just yet. There's a
Yeah,
couple guys who it could be, but it's not there yet. But yeah, I'm with you. He's one of my favorites to watch. I'll be locked in this weekend.
come on,
I'm
man.
excited to see that dude.
Hey, we need to start a boxing podcast. Hey,
We
man,
might have to,
on the
man.
boardroom, man. They got a boxing podcast, man. Get
Hey,
me on
man.
there, man. We need to make that happen, man. Come on
We
now.
just might have to, man. Well, look, let's get on the phone.
Hey, let's do this, man. Let's do this. Eddie Gonzalez, the et ceteras. Hey, Sack is going up, bro. You need to get out here this season.
Yeah,
It's about to be on fire at the Golden One Center this year, bro.
I'm coming to a game for sure. There's a couple games. I might be out there for an event at the fair at the end of the month,
Oh,
maybe. Waiting
oh,
to find out.
oh.
But if not, I'll be out there soon. And man, we owe each other a round or two for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My dog, I appreciate you pulling up on me today, dog.
Yes, sir. You already know. Hit me up, man, and tell Dame, man. Damien, I know you out there being a megastar insider, but come back to work, man. Waiting on you.
That's facts, man. That's facts, man. Eddie Gonzalez.